Harinama, Harinama, Harinamaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatir Anyata. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Welcome to this RadhaRaman Vedic temple. Tonight we are performing the Sankirtan Yajna, the recommended sacrifice for this age of Kali. Sankirtan Yajna means that full glorification, complete Samkirtan, full, complete glorification of the name, fame, form, pastimes, entourage, qualities, or instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who in his original form is known as Krishna or Govinda. Tonight's sponsor is my good friend Krishna Kumar Dasa, and is the policy of this temple. Whoever sponsors the program chooses the topic. So he has chosen very, very elevated, confidential part of Vedanta, conclusion of Vedic knowledge. So this is entitled the Bhakti-lata-bija. And we learn this from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, composed by the great Gaudiya Vaishnava Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So the scene is Lord Chaitanya, the first 24 years of his life, he lived as a grihastha, brahmachari and then grihastha. And on the verge of his 25th year, Mahaprabhu took sannyas. And when he took sannyas, he made his headquarters at Jagannath Puri. And immediately he wanted to go to Vrindavan, but by the tricks and schemes of his close associates and followers, they made it very difficult, practically impossible for Lord Chaitanya to go to Vrindavan. So he spent the first 6 years of his sannyas life touring South India, up and down, all over South India, preaching his Krishna consciousness movement or Sankirtan movement. And then eventually he was able to visit Vrindavan. So let's pick up there, and that will bring us to tonight's topic. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started for Vrindavan, when he entered the forest of Madhya Pradesh or Jharikanda, Rupa Goswami left home and sent news to his brother Sanatan that he was leaving with their younger brother Anupama, and their mission was to meet Lord Chaitanya. Rupa Goswami finally reached Prayag and met with Lord Chaitanya for 10 consecutive days. During those 10 days at Prayag, Rupa Goswami was instructed by Sriman Mahaprabhu, who gave Rupa the basic principles of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And thus, Lord Chaitanya empowered Rupa Goswami with the necessary potency to execute the wishes and mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Rupa Goswami as well as his elder brother Sanatan, were very, very highly posted ministers in the Muslim government who were at that time ruling over Bengal. Rupa and his brother Sanatan originally were from Brahmana families in South India. But because they accepted ministerial posts in the Muslim government, they were ostracized from the strict Brahminical society. They had even accepted Muslim names, Dabir Khas, Sakara Malik. But although they were rejected by the strict Hindu society, Lord Chaitanya picked them up, accepted them, and made them both two of his most dedicated and important disciples. And Rupa Goswami, on the order of Lord Chaitanya, he was given several orders. One order, Rupa was to go to Vrindavan and excavate all the lost holy pilgrimage sites of Krishna's pastimes. Second instruction was that Rupa Goswami was to go through all the Vedic scriptures, the Puranas, the histories, everything, and find the corresponding Shastric evidence for everything Lord Chaitanya had instructed him. Another instruction was that Rupa Goswami was to establish a nice standard of deity worship. And we have that Govinda temple, the Govinda deity. And his brother Sanatan, he established Madan Mohan in Vrindavan. So this going through the Vedic scriptures and compiling books, Rupa Goswami wrote many, many books. One of the most foremost was this already mentioned, Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu, which our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, has translated in a summary form known as Nectar of Devotion. So now let's go. Lord Chaitanya now is teaching Rupa at that Prayag, Triveni, the confluence of the three rivers. Lord Chaitanya says to Rupa, "My dear Rupa, please listen to me, for it is not possible to describe bhakti or devotional service completely. Therefore, I am just trying to give you a synopsis of the symptoms of bhakti, devotional service. The ocean of transcendental mellows of bhakti is so big that no one can estimate its length and breadth. However, just to help you taste it, I am describing but one drop." Lord Chaitanya began his instructions basically in the same way as Krishna did with Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Chaitanya started by informing Rupa that there are 8,400,000 different species of material bodies inhabited by conditioned souls. The Jiva soul is described in the Upanishads as Sukshma, very, very fine, very, very subtle, and is but 1/10,000th the tip of the hair. That is the original, subtle nature of the living entities in terms of how to understand the dimension of the soul, although we know from the Gita that the soul is otherwise aprameya, immeasurable. So that's what we call a spiritual conundrum. But once we get to this platform of transcendental knowledge, material logic has to be thrown out. It doesn't apply. As I've said many times, you have to be able to accommodate an elephant on a dish. Or my favorite story, Narada was sent by Narayan, and he was instructed, there are some sages on earth. Go visit them. Tell them that I have sent you. And when they ask, I want you to tell them that I have been threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. So Narada dutifully obeyed Lord Narayan, went to those brahmanas, told them exactly what the Lord said, and the brahmanas said, oh, Narada, we don't believe you. Come on. Narayan threading an elephant through the eye of a needle? Now, stop this nonsense. Go away. So Narada went back to Narayan. Of course, the Lord knew what was going on, of course, but he informed the Lord. So then Lord Narayan said, now go to this cobbler, this Muchi cobbler. Go tell him. So Narada went. And Narada said, yes, I have just come from the Lord. And the humble cobbler said, oh, what was my Lord doing? Narada said, oh, he was threading an elephant through the eye of a needle. And unlike the brahmanas, the cobbler went, oh, that is great. That is wonderful. My Lord is wonderful. Narada said, you believe that? And the cobbler said, of course I believe that. Here, look at this seed of the banyan tree. Within the seed of the banyan tree is the potency to create the big banyan tree. If my Lord can do that, certainly he can thread an elephant through the eye of a needle. In this way, Narada learned a very valuable lesson. Because one of the most important things in order to have a proper understanding of this word God is what we say in Sanskrit, achintya shakti, inconceivable potency. Inconceivable means that God can do anything. There are no limitations. That's why one of his names, everybody say, Ananta. Everybody say. That's better. Very good. Okay, so let's go. Continuing. Lord Chaitanya categorizes the conditioned souls in two divisions, moving and non-moving. Human beings only account for 400,000 species, and the number of civilized human beings is even smaller. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes an important point. Lord Chaitanya informs Rupa, among human beings, those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. Among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. Such people do not care for the regulative principles. But among the actual followers of Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of karmakanda, fruitive activity, distinguishing between good and bad material work. Now, out of many such sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. And who is that wise man? one who is aware of their higher spiritual identity as spirit soul. This reminds us of what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, that out of thousands among men, you might find one interested in spiritual life or self-realization. And out of them, the number that have actually become self-realized is even smaller. And of those, the pure devotee of Krishna, Sudurlabha, very rarely seen. So if you find a pure representative of Krishna, your life is successful. And that's coming up as a major important point. So out of many millions of such wise persons who have understood their spiritual identity, one may actually become mukta, or liberated. And out of many millions of such liberated persons, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is even more difficult to find. Lord Chaitanya then informs Rupa of the difference between the four types of civilized human beings. Krishna Bhakta Ataeva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhikami Sakali Ashanta. So, this statement by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna Bhakta Shanta, the devotee of Krishna, peaceful. Why is he peaceful? Because he has no material desires. Free from, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, become free from material desires. Now, the bhukti, that means the sense enjoyer. That person cannot be happy because we learn from Bhagavad Gita, sense enjoyment is like this, up and down. There's no material pleasure that is ever increasing, no. Every material pleasure has a beginning, middle, and then an end. Any material pleasure. That's just the nature. Whether it be, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, happiness in the mode of ignorance, passion, or even goodness, it's limited and temporary. That's the nature of material happiness. Then the next one, the mukti, the person who wants to merge into the Krishna effulgence, the Brahma Jyoti. That person will not be peaceful because by nature, even if such a person achieves such liberation, in that state, eventually the desire for activity will inherently become manifest. Because it is a state where there is no activity, just oneness, but that is not the nature of the soul. We learn from Bhagavad Gita, from the Vedas, the soul by nature is active. Then the next one, the siddhi. The person performing yoga, meditation, but their objective is mystic powers. So, Lord Chaitanya says all three, bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, they're all lusty because they have some personal motive. But the pure devotee has no motive. The pure devotee is like this: my Lord, I am your puppet. You tell me how I should be, and I voluntarily will do as you say. When Arjuna heard the whole Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, when Krishna finished up He said, "So Arjuna, I've told you everything. Now, what is your decision?" Because we have a gift from Krishna, free will. That's inherent. Just as water, it's by nature wet. Chili, by nature, hot. Sugar cane juice, fresh sugar cane juice. Sweet, that's its nature. So, everything has a nature. So the nature of the soul, one of its free will, minute free will, because we're not absolute, but we have minute free will. And when that minute free will is given, and I turn to Krishna and say, "Now I am your eternal servant," that is when I become pure devotee. No personal agenda. I only want to satisfy Radha Krishna. We want Krishna with Radha, not Krishna alone. We want to see Radha Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya says, because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he or she is peaceful. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyment. Jnanis desire liberation. And yogis desire material opulence in the terms of mystic powers. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Now we come to the main point. Very, very important verse. This is in the Bengali language, the Chaitanya Charitamrita is written in Bengali. But this statement is very important. Brahmanda Brahmate Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti-lata-bija. So, Brahmanda Brahmate, the conditioned soul in the material world, is like being on a Ferris wheel. You've been with your children or you yourself, you've gone to amusement park and they have the Ferris wheel. You start at the bottom and slowly you're on top. But not for long, you come down again. And that is Brahmanda Brahmate. The conditioned soul is transmigrating, sometimes to the heavenly planets, sometimes on the earth, and sometimes lower. And it's like an endless cycle, samsara, all based on misuse of free will. That is the root cause of our suffering. Misuse of free will. If I voluntarily take my free will and, like Arjuna, Karishye Vachanam Tava. After Arjuna heard Gita, his response was, "I have heard everything, my doubts are cleared, and I am ready to execute your order." That is what we call surrender. But we have free will. And so we can say to Krishna at any time, "No, thank you. I'll do my own thing." And Krishna allows us to, Yes, wander throughout this material universe. Now, Kona Bhagyavan Jeev. Who is the fortunate Bhagyavan? Who is the fortunate living entity? Guru Krishna Prasade Pai. It is the combined mercy, not just Krishna, not just Guru, combined. Lord Chaitanya says, Guru Krishna Prasad. You need the mercy of both Krishna and Guru. And what happens? The Guru gives you Bhakti-lata-bija. At the time of initiation, when you voluntarily accept, surrender to a spiritual master, as Krishna says in Gita, chapter 4, surrender, make inquiries, serve the spiritual master. So at the time of initiation, the seed of this Bhakti-lata is placed there by the spiritual master. You cannot buy it on Amazon.com. It is the mercy. It is the mercy. Guru Krishna Prasade. And when Prabhupada would preach on this verse, he would emphasize, which I've done, it is the combined mercy of Guru and Krishna. So, Bhakti-lata-bija, seed. Even in mantras, there are seeds, like Om. Om Namo Narayanaya. There are other seeds. Clean, Krishnaya Namaha. Clean is another one. Or for Subhadra, Sring. These are transcendental seed sound vibrations. So, the seed of this Bhakti-lata, creeper of devotion. All right, that's what Lord Chaitanya plants, the Guru plants that seed at the time of initiation in the heart. So, after making this statement, Lord Chaitanya's methodology is after making a statement, then he goes deeper. So, looks like I have your attention. So, are you ready to go deeper? Oh, I like that. Come to the head of the class. You get extra credit. Yeah. Oh, it was you? Oh, come to the head of the class. All right. So this is what Lord Chaitanya says now. When a person receives that seed, one should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing that seed in the heart, because that's where it was planted. So if one waters the seed, and what is the watering process? Hearing and chanting, which we are doing tonight. So right now, we are watering that seed of devotion. If one waters the seed, the Bhakti-lata-bija will begin to sprout. It will begin now. Interesting. It's not the Guru's business to water the seed. Neither is it Krishna's business. It is the person. In other words, I have to make the effort to hear and chant. Can't depend on anyone. I have to do it. That is the surrender. The surrender is, I want to do so many activities, go here, go there, watch this, watch that. But that has to become minimized, 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 minimized. And more time has to be spent hearing and chanting this transcendental subject matter. Beginning with Bhagavad Gita, the Bible of India. Am I right? Yes. And then, if you want more elaborate knowledge, Srimad Bhagavatam, postgraduate study of the science of God. And you want to go further? Chaitanya Charitamrita. You want to go further? Brahma Samhita. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamahang Bhajami. Everybody. So we are meant to become transcendental gardeners of our own seed of devotion. As one waters the Bhakti-lata-bija, the seed sprouts, and the creeper gradually grows and grows and grows up to the point where it penetrates the walls of this universe. Then it attains Brahmaloka, not the planet of Brahma. Here Brahmaloka means the Brahman, the bodily Brahmajyoti rays of Krishna. Then it goes further and reaches the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha, higher and higher and higher, ultimately reaching the topmost spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavan. Even the sound is very attractive. Goloka, not like New York, unattractive Tallahassee. No, Goloka Vrindavan, very, puts you in such a nice frame of mind. Being situated in one's heart and being watered by hearing and chanting, the bhakti creeper grows more and more. And then it attains shelter of the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna. Desire tree. Kalpa Vriksha. If there was a Kalpa Vriksha on earth, you would be king. They would install you as king of the world. Because what's a desire tree? Whatever you want, it will give you. Here, you get orange from an orange tree, mango from a mango tree, but desire tree, I want apple. Now I want mango. But devotees, they don't ask for that. They ask for prema, love of God. That's what real devotees want. Krishna is eternally situated in the planet known as Goloka Vrindavan. And when the creeper reaches the lotus feet of Krishna, there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Now, although remaining still in the material world, the gardener still regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. Because sometimes people ask this question, Prabhu, I have been chanting for 30 years. How much longer do I have to do this? And I say, you misunderstand. Because when you actually are able to chant, you don't want to stop. So your question is ludicrous. You know in yourself, just like after we're all going to have nice prasad prepared by our sponsor. Simple but nice. Not just simple. Simple but sublime. He already told me the menu. Simple but very tasty. So, we are sprinkling water on this creeper. That's my obligation. I have to do that. And when I actually approach the stage of perfection, I won't want to stop. In a book of Rupa Goswami, he gives the example of a person with jaundice. A person with jaundice can't taste anything sweet. To a person with jaundice, sweets, gulab jamins, jalebis, rasgullas, is bitter because of the disease. But you all know, Misri is very nice, Srikand, Gujaratis like Srikand, right? It's sweet, right? Gulab jamins, juice drips down the cheek. Rasamalai, one of my favorites. Rasamalai. But if I have jaundice, I've lost my taste. Just like it was reported. Somebody who got COVID, one of the symptoms was they lost their taste. Shri Shri RadhaRaman Bhagavan ki jai. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. Gaur Premanande. So, Rupa Goswami says that for a person who has jaundice, the cure is sugarcane juice. But it tastes nasty. Too bad. If you want to get cured, you have to take the medicine. And how do you know you're cured? Give me more. I want more of that. You can't, right? Now you know you're cured. Because now not only is it not bitter, bring it on. More. Same way. We have right now the jaundice of avidya, ignorance. Ignorance meaning attachment to material sense enjoyment. But when you are cured of that material disease, then when you chant Krishna's name, it is sweeter. Madhuram, madhuram, madhuram. Sweeter than the sweetest, and you can't stop. You can't stop. One time, Prabhupada was asked by the famous Beatle, John Lennon. So, how do I know who is the real guru? He was trying to challenge Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, oh, that's very easy. Find that person most addicted to Krishna. Now, Prabhupada used that word, why? Because at that time, John Lennon and his wife were using heroin. And Prabhupada could see. So he said, what is the real guru? He's addicted to Krishna. Then you know. That's when you know you have guru. They're addicted to Krishna. Now we get to the warning. We have heard all the nice things about the Bhakti-lata. Now, warning. It's like when you buy a medicine or even you buy some product. Sometimes there is a warning, right? So, now Lord Chaitanya gives the warning. Disclosure. Disclosure. Those of you who have ever had legal dealings, there is disclosures. Just like, was it yesterday? There was a big disclosure. 40, how many pages? Yeah, big, kind of a big disclosure. Lord Chaitanya says, if the devotee commits hati mata, an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, while cultivating the creeper of devotional service, one's offense is compared to a mad elephant which uproots the creeper and breaks it. And then the leaves of the creeper dry up. So we have to be very, very careful about our creeper and not commit offenses. That's why Lord Chaitanya, and I recited before every lecture, just to impress on myself. Trinadapi sunichena torori vasahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. I'm nothing. I'm insignificant. I am even more insignificant than the blade of grass on the sucker field. More insignificant than the straw in the street. And I have to be tolerant. Parents, you were taught tolerance by having children. You were forced to learn tolerance. Otherwise, your son wouldn't be where he is now. It's all because they were tolerant. And your turn is coming. And I must give all respect to others. Why? Why? Not because you're this or that, no. Because Krishna is in your heart. That's what Lord Shiva told Sati. I don't bow down to the person. I bow down to Krishna within that person. That is what Mahadev taught. And I can't be concerned about what people think or say about me. That's not important. So I have to keep myself meek and humble. If I'm meek and humble, how can I offend anyone? The only way I can offend someone is if I think I am superior. No. That's why when Prabhupada gave initiation, Damodar Dasa, Nirantara Dasa, Krishna Kumar Dasa. Servant, not master, servant. Dasi for the feminine. Servant of the servant, of the servant, of the servant, of the 100 times down, if not more, from Krishna. Now, this Hati Mata, mad elephant offense. One is the most serious. It's serious, but there's one kind that is the most serious. Guru Aparad. That is the ultimate. Then you're finished. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. And Prabhupada comments here and elsewhere, the way to guard it is to be very careful of your association. When we associate with non-devotees, demons, rascals, gross materialists, then the possibility of making offense, becoming influenced, is greatly enhanced. So the way to protect the creeper is to always have good, holy association. That is the purpose of not just this temple, any temple, is to provide an atmosphere so that everyone feels safe, secure, encouraged, enlivened, and protected. That is how we should be treating each other. With respect, with concern, with love, kindness, and one word, should never enter into anything in the temple: politics. That is the beginning of the end. Lord Chaitanya goes deeper. Sometimes other unwanted creepers grow alongside the main creeper. Such desires are basically for material enjoyment or impersonal liberation. And Lord Chaitanya says the varieties of these are unlimited. Wow. Here are the main ones Lord Chaitanya points out. First one, Nishiddha Achar. Behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection or accepting things forbidden in the Shastra. That's number one. Number two, I just mentioned it. Kuti Nati. Diplomatic behavior and unnecessary fault finding. That is a big problem. All temples, I know. No temple is free. There's always some kind of gossip. Fault finding. Number three, Jiva Hingsa. Unnecessarily killing animals, or in a higher sense, envy of other living entities. Next one, Labha. Profit according to material calculations. Next, Kama. Desire for material gain. Number 6, Puja. Adoration achieved by satisfying mundane people or hankering for mundane popularity. Number 7, Pratishtasha. Seeking mundane importance in society or the desire for name and fame or high position in terms of religious or spiritual considerations. So these are the unwanted creepers. Lord Chaitanya continues, if one does not distinguish between the real bhakti creeper and these other unwanted creepers, then the sprinkling of hearing and chanting becomes misused, and the other creepers are nourished, and the bhakti creeper dies. Just like anyone who has a garden, my daughter has a garden. If you want a nice garden, you have to take care of it. Pull out the weeds, water properly. And according to my daughter, certain plants go good with some and not with others. Matching. As soon as an intelligent devotee sees an unwanted creeper growing besides the original creeper, he or she must instantly cut it down. Then the real creeper will grow nicely and return home back to Godhead, seeking shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Now, Lord Chaitanya returns to the positive. So when your creeper reaches the lotus feet of Krishna, as with any creeper, at some point the fruits mature. Those who have picked mangoes, you look for those ripe ones, right? The ripe mango. Right now it was June, right? Right now in India, is it mango season? I remember my first visit to Vrindavan in 75 was in June. And I remember at the temple we had mangoes, and that's where I learned. Every day, mangoes. So, when your creeper reaches the lotus feet of Krishna, and your creeper, the fruit, is mature, the fruit breaks open and crashes into your heart, and you experience ecstasies of love of Krishna. That's what you have to look. That's, people ask, why are you chanting every day? Hare Krishna, Krishna. Why you do that every day? This is why I'm hankering for that fruit of love of God. I'm getting little drips, tastes. Otherwise, why I would continue? But I'm waiting for that full. What does Lord Chaitanya say? Purnamrita swadanam. The full taste. All right. Krishna Kumar, do you want to say anything on this topic? The microphone is here if you want to give. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You've been such an excellent audience. I would like to give you a blessing. Will you accept my blessing? Please fold your hands over your heart. My dear Lord Krishna, these nice devotees have patiently and attentively heard your message. So please remove in their hearts all abhadrani, inauspiciousness, and may they begin to taste little more and more, this fruit of love of Godhead, and show them your mercy little by little. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Om Tat Sat.